what should you do? Well, okay, some people have moved into private equity. Here's the problem with private equity. This right here at the bottom, ladies and gentlemen, this represents debt. And AAA debt has a default rate of about 0.3. You go all the way down to junk bonds that are rated, has a default rate of about 47%. Private equity is not even rated. It's non-rated debt. It's a group of guys putting together a partnership, coming up with an idea. Let's buy a building. Let's be the general partners. Let's get the income from our renters, and we're going to give you a piece. They go out of business, you're zero. Okay, you're not down 14% because the market was down. You're zero. Okay, and I got to tell you, I'm going to be very frank and honest. I've been doing this a long time. I was a young 23-year-old on Wall Street, and I bought into the whole private equity shtick, and I swear I'd never do that again because I got burnt and my clients got burnt. So I realized a long time ago, it's not the holy grail. Be long to market. Client was here yesterday, I had a talk yesterday. He says to me, Dom, my sister-in-law, she has all the money in something called SPY. That's basically an ETF on S&P 500. He goes, what do you think? She did good last year. I said, yeah, because the market was up. And I said, being long the market's fine, John. Market's down 20%, you're down 20. Market's up 20%, you're up 20. I said, that's fine, but at an all-time high, do you want to have your life savings in long only? So anyway, buy annuities. Let's talk about annuities for a second. Annuities, here's what they say. You don't have any downside tail. So if the market goes down, you lose nothing. That's great. $310 billion in annuities. Market goes up. Do you get the upside? Well, not exactly. They have something called caps on annuities. The caps are usually 5%. So market goes up 30%, you get 5. Market goes down 10%, you get 0. Okay, that's how annuities work. And they could change this every year, but they lock you in for 10 years. That's not an investment that I want to own. You don't get the upside of the market, you get to a cap. And the cap's usually not good. Well, how about invest in my strategies? Well, let's talk about my strategies. Right now, what we're doing is a fully protected note, just like an annuity, looks just like an annuity. Market goes down, I don't lose money. Market goes up, here's the difference. My notes right now are giving you 85% of the upside with absolutely no downside risk. And most of the people in this room, I think all the people in this room, own this. You own this. So that's a far different cry. Now, what's interesting about that is this one I built for a client about 2 weeks ago. You can see the 85% upside. You see the downside, and we built it on the S&P. And looking at the numbers there. Well, look at the return. The return is if the market's down 40%, my client's up 0.5%. The market's up 40%, my client's up 32%. The nice thing about this, usually they're a year or less. Now, here's what I did. I asked my team, I said, do me a favor. If I could buy a fully protected note over the last 20 years, what would I have made? And so I did a comparison to the S&P, the NASDAQ, the diversified 60-40, and an annuity. And the truth of the matter is I did it from lowest risk to highest risk. Look what happens here. The one with the lowest risk over the last 20 years would have given you the highest return if I could have got 85% annual reset every year. In other words, every year I just rebuy the note and lock in the gain or have no loss and reinvest the money. Look at the annuity. Look at the annuity. 400% more return and actually less risk because an annuity is only insured up to $250,000, similar to FDIC. So I don't understand how the hell, excuse my vernacular, how the hell is it $310 billion in annuities? It's the #1 product sold to seniors. $310 billion. I don't know. I mean, it's up to $38 billion, by the way. It's not even 310, it's 38 billion. Let's do a comparison. Annuity, return without risk. Yes, mine's the same. 10-year lockup, sometimes 30-year lockup. Mine are 1 year or less. Most of the people in this room, your structures are maturing either September or December. Returns are capped. There's no cap. In fact, I'm the only advisor in the country, I think, Kirk, I think, that does not cap our notes. I know you asked me about that, because if you look at the ones on the street, they're all capped. And I hate those cap things. Mine, not liquid. A lot of annuities you must annuitize. Mine are totally liquid at maturity. Annuities are only guaranteed to 250 on the SGA. You got $1 million in an annuity, it goes out of business, you're screwed. Mine are unlimited protected. Why? Because mine are using treasuries and OCC cleared options. They are both federally guaranteed, unlimited amount. You could have $1 trillion in ours, you don't lose a dollar. If Schwab goes out of business, client calls me, what if Schwab goes out of business? Your structured notes aren't going to be touched. If you got a money market at Schwab, yes, FDIC caps you at 250. High commission, 10% commission. 10% commission. Tell you a quick vignette. I like to sail. I went sailing, and it was a big boat, and one of my friends invited her friend, and her boyfriend came. And he's about 35 years old, advisor out of Chicago, Illinois. Had a big book, about $200 million book. Inherited from his dad. Kind of arrogant. You know, I said, hey, man, we're in the same business. We start talking shop, and we're drinking beers and talking. And he asked me, he says, well, what do you do? I says, well, I do structured investing. I use a combination of very safe investments and derivatives to leverage. He goes, yeah, I heard of those. I don't do those because there's not enough commission in it. I do index annuities. I make 10%. $1 million, his commission's $100,000. He walks into Tesla, buys his girlfriend or his wife a brand new Tesla, one day, one sale. So I didn't have much to say to this guy over the next week and a half. I did not want to talk to him. And you know, I believe in hell. I was like, dude, okay. I don't want to be there when you die. I said, so anyway, and of course, our mark-to-market, no penalties. We don't charge commission. It's just our base fee. And that's why ours are so much better than everybody else's, because I'm not embedding all these costs. I'm building them right in your Schwab account. You actually look at your statement and go, I don't know what I'm looking at, right? I'm not sure what I'm looking at. Tom's got me this, but it's actually a raw product. I got all the broccoli and the carrots. They're all in your account. So anyway, that's kind of interesting. We do manage our structures, which is a very cool feature. I took the buffered note and I said, wait a minute, the buffered note, which gives me 100% of the upside for my more aggressive clients. And you could look at the difference between the buffered note over the same time period would have grown 100,000, would have gone to 1 million. The protected would only have gone to 835. But look at the risk. The buffered note does have some risk, right? If you break under 20%, you start losing money. So if the market's down 21, you're down 1, okay? But you're getting 100% of the market. So I'd rather be in a buffered note getting 100% of the market than just straight the SPY, right, Brian? That makes sense. Why would I be 100% long the market if I could be hedged and get just as much upside? Does that make sense? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? I am. Okay. So look at the numbers, guys. I want to look at the numbers. Now notice that for another 1%, it's just about 1%. You are adding some risk, but you are terminally about 160, 70,000 better. But here's what's really weird. Here's what's really interesting. A diversified portfolio. I had a client say to me, she asked me to do a financial plan for her. She asked me to do a financial plan. And this client wants to retire. She goes, Dom, I want to retire in the next 12 months. Can I retire? So we did a financial plan. We went through the software we have. We went through Monte Carlo, probability of retiring. It gives you a percentage, 58%, 60%. And I said, I said, Judy, here's your deal. If we could put you in investments that have very low risk, we could guarantee your success, because losses is what destroys wealth. In fact, what's interesting is, you think you're a young client, I'm going to put all my money in NASDAQ, right? Look at the drawdown on NASDAQ, 73%. That's why NASDAQ is not winning, because it's the volatility of return. It's not the return on your money, it's the volatility of return that grows wealth. Because think about this for a second. If I have $100 and I lose 50%, I have $50. I got to make 100% to get back to break even. That's negative compounding interest. Einstein said the greatest invention of mankind is positive compounding. The worst invention of mankind is negative compounding. So that's why a young person says to me, well, Dom, I'm young, I'm gonna put my money in the NASDAQ. But over this 23-year period, maybe that's not the right answer. Maybe put your money where you can get the best return with the least volatility. And of course, that would be structured investing. That would be structured investing. And that's why these numbers are so much better than these numbers. And so that's interesting. But 95% of the financial community is right here. Diversified portfolio. That's where everybody has their money. For 10% more, okay, so a Buffett note has 10% more risk. 18, that's 10% more risk. But it has 242% more return. So let me ask a question. Mike, would you, for an extra 10% risk, would you want to get 242% better return? So why do people have money in a diversified portfolio? In fact, why doesn't everybody have their money in this? Not only have your money in it, why don't you have all your money in this? Because I have all my money in it. Most people in this room have all your money in it because you're my clients. It's also kind of interesting that even if I think about the fully protected, I'm still doing 200% better return with no risk. So I don't understand $385 billion in annuities. I don't understand how every financial advisor doesn't have their clients in these. And I guess when private equity and annuities are paying 10% and these are paying no commission, I guess maybe that's the answer. Whether it's big pharma or attorneys not solving problems, they extend problems, right? Realtors want to undervalue your property because they want to turn it. Is anybody working for you anymore? I mean, I'm very serious about this. It really frustrates the heck out of me. But I don't get this. I don't get this. This is where all my money is. This is all your money is. And there's nothing goofy about what I'm doing. It's not rocket science, right? Once you